A.
All right. So let's have a look at completing the square here. What the first thing we're gonna do? Let's make a list of all the different steps that we can go through. Right now, the we have to identify. We know that if we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, this is the coefficient of x. And what we do is we take the b value divided by 2 and square it. Once we have it in that form, we then add and subtract that. We add and subtract that in there. Okay? So we would plus b over 2 squared, and we would minus b over 2 squared just in there, plus c equals 0. Because then we're actually adding 0, right? And that's the whole idea. So the first step when completing the square, step 1, take b over 2 and square it. Step 2, add it and subtract it in there. Once you've added it and subtracted in there, you then group these three terms together. Okay? You group these three terms together, and you're going to end up with some bracket squared, okay, and some constant number over here, right? Some constant value in some variable with x in it minus whatever squared. And that's step 3, which involves a little bit of factorizing. Okay, so to go from there to there, we factorize. Now let's have a look at this. Step 1. Let's get it in this form first. We first need to get it in this form. So let's take x squared
squared plus 2x
minus 2 equals
equals
0.
0.
And now what I want to do is take my b value divided by 2 and square it. So that means 2 divided by 2 squared becomes 1. We're going to take that 1 and make a gap just next to that. And we're going to add and subtract 1 over there. This is going to become x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus 1 minus 2 equals 0. We always plus first and then minus. Now, let's group the first three terms together, and we're going to factorize this now. When we factorize this, we get x plus 1 all squared minus 3 equals 0. That becomes x plus 1 squared equals 3. We then square root both sides, and we get x plus 1 equals plus minus the square root of 3. All right. Okay, so now that we have that, let's just put all of these in a block. So that's the steps. I'll continue. Yeah. So x can equal 1, negative 1 when I move it over, plus minus square root of 3. Gets me x equals negative 1 plus root 3, or x equals negative 1 minus root 3. Okay, and that's how I can solve the question. But ultimately, the solving part is not the focus in this particular one. I just wanted to, well, solving it is quite important because we have an equation, we have an equal sign. If an equal sign wasn't there and it was just in the form without an equal sign, then we would stop over here at x plus 1 squared minus 3. Another note is that once you get to this point, you can easily use this in a graph because the turning point is negative 1 and negative 3, and we can do that in a different example, but that's more for graph work and stuff. All right, so so basically, the final answer is after you've completed the square would be x equals to minus 1, but before that, this is the form of minus p squared plus q. And that's what you want to get it into that form.